So pinball, you'd think that's a hard game to simulate through a board game, but Jeff Engelstein has done that with WizKids publishing it. And there's several different variations, but it's Super Skill Pinball, and I happen to have the Star Trek version here. It's a fun little game. It is a roll and write, which is all of the rage right now. It doesn't take up a heck of a lot of space. I think if you're trying to do it on an airplane tray table, you might have a little bit of space problem, especially because you'd be afraid of rolling the dice. I would take, it's two six-sided dice. I would take some cheap dice with you if you're going to play, and not use the really nice dice that come in this set. And I'll show you, they're nice and sparkly and stuff. And I would also use pennies or something as tokens so you don't lose the tokens that come with it, because those are pretty nice too. But you can play it probably on an airplane table. You can definitely take it with you and play during lunch. You may have to put it away and bring it back out, because it can take a little while depending on how well you've been rolling. It'll definitely take it on vacation, take it to your family's house, play it on the table when you don't have a lot of time, or you don't feel like breaking out a table hog like G.I. Joe Mission Critical or Imperial Assault or Gloomhaven or something like that. It's a great little game, and we're going to get into it and show you how it plays. So thank you for joining me today. If you'd like to support the channel, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Hit the little bell so you know when I put out a new video. You can also join my Patreon, where you'll have chances to vote on games that I'm going to purchase, or maybe the next game that I'm going to review. I'll put out the games I'm going to review in advance, and you can place comments on what you think about the game, and I can share those here on the channel. You can buy me a coffee. Any of the money that I get through these channels goes right back into this YouTube, so that I can buy more games, I can get better equipment, and I can provide you guys with a better product that is something that you would want. One other thing I have to note is that I am an Amazon affiliate, so the links to Amazon products like the Super Skill Pinball Star Trek, I will get a tiny commission from the sale, and that again goes right back to the channel. So I'm not trying to live my life off of the YouTube channel. I'm just trying to do something fun and give back to the solo gaming community. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Okay, so Star Trek Super Skill Pinball. Again, it's a great little game, and we're going to open it up right now. The instructions are fairly short. When you look at the instructions, they start on page 2, and the actual instructions for the game end at page 11. Once you get, 13, 14, 15. Once you get to page 15, you go to 16, and it starts talking about the individual tables. And those are usually only a couple of pages each to show you special rules for parts of the tables. So 15 pages, 14 pages when you considering it starts at page 2 of instructions. It's not that much, not that bad, and the instructions are actually fairly easy. Each game comes in 2 cards. You've got your mirror card, which holds your score, and in some cases it may hold other information. So this is the top of your pinball board. Then you have the actual pinball table itself, and this is where the game is played. Now each card has 2 sides. So this is Starfleet Academy. I flip it over, and this one is Trouble with Tribbles. There are 4 different tables and 6 sets of cards, so you can play up to 6 players. In the bottom are dry erase markers, and these are actually pretty good dry erase markers. I was pleasantly surprised when I pulled them out and started using them. I have another roll and write game where the markers are so bad I had to go grab one of my own dry erase markers for it to work. You've got these dice, and I'm going to try and hold them up to the camera, and hopefully they focus. So you can see that they're black die with silver glitter in them. So it really kind of mimics that outer space. And I love these dice so much for this game, which is why if I was to take this on an airplane and I was going to play it on the tray table, I would use just regular white dice or something so I don't lose these. The other part is the pinball itself. And as you can see, these look like, and you'll need two of them, half pinballs. So they're a nice chrome color and they look like a half a pinball. Again, that's why if you're going to try and play it on an airplane, I would use pennies or something that if they fall off and onto the floor, you aren't going to miss them. But these, you know, if you want to play a full game with your friends and you don't have these, then you're going to have some trouble. So we'll put the rest of the cards back into the box and show you how this game works. We're going to use the Starfleet Academy side. It is the beginner's side and is the easier one to play. And let's see if I can raise this and maybe get more of it into view. Nope, that's it. Okay. So you always have one off to the side and you'll see there's a start here. The anatomy of each card is it's split by white lines into 3 different zones. You can only be in one zone at a time. The only way you can climb back up to a zone is with a flipper, but you can bounce between the zones and didn't erase that very well. You can bounce between the zones and within it and continue to score based on that. So for instance, these bumpers, just like in real pinball, you can go around and around and around. These bumpers you can go back and forth between, but eventually you will have to hit the flippers. Any of these spaces that are solid lines, when you color them in and you move on to your second round, they stay colored in. If it's a dashed line, then when you move to the next round, you erase it. When you get all 3 of these, you get a skill shot, which means you can circle a number and you can replace a die with that number, which is very helpful if you're getting to the point where you're running out of space on the flippers and you need to score a little bit or want to score a little bit more. In this table, you have this row here, which is the Kobayashi Maru. You can only get to it from the red flipper, and you have to fill these in order up to 7. Once you get to 2, you get 1 star, 2 stars, 20 stars, 50 stars, and the stars are your individual points. So each row is 5 stars. When you get to 100, you fill in that 100 star, erase the table, start again. You can nudge, and if you nudge, that means you're going to take, say, a 3 and you want to make it a 5. You'll write a number 2 in there and say you've used the nudge. The next time you roll, if there's a difference of 2 or more between the dice, then you tilt. And if not, then you're good to go. I've never tilted, so I would have to look up those instructions, but they are there. So what do you do when you're at the start? Well, you've got these 2 dice, you roll them, and pick one. So I've got a 5 and a 2. I'm going to come down the 5. So that's that. The 2 goes away. Nothing really happens because I have to fill all these in to get the skill shot. So my next roll is a 5 and a 3. So I can pick where I want this to go. I'm going to go down here to this 3. You have to fill in all 12 of these in order to clear it. But I do get a point up here on my track, and I just use a dot, so I don't have as much to erase. So I get a point each time I hit one of those. And the nice thing again with this is you can go around through the bumpers. You can't hit the same bumper twice, but in a row, but you can go around. So my next roll is a 1 or a 6. So I'm going to come around here to this 6 and score my point. A 1 and a 1. So I can come around to this 1, score my point. A 3 and a 4. I can come around to the 4, score the point. Now what's going to eventually happen is I'm going to roll something that I've already filled in for both of them, and I'm going to have to fall out of here. But for now, I'm still in there, and I get my point. Oop. I've got a 1 or a 6, so I will fill in the 6. Now, if I roll another 6, say if I had the 1 filled in, if I roll another 6 and a 1, I would have to drop down to the next level. So let's see what we got. We've got a 6 and a 4. Well, I can't, oh, there we go. I'm down to the 6. So I can go back to the 4. Again, the rule of the bumpers, and it's just like it works in a regular pinball machine. Now, 4 and 6s, I can't do anything with. I have to drop down. 5 and a 2. So I will come around to the 5, fill it in, get my point. I know it seems like it's really easy at this point, and it kind of is. 4 and a 1. So now my 1s are all filled in. So boom, go up to the 1. 3 and a 3. So I can come around here, get the 3, get a point. I'm not normally this lucky. Normally by now I've had to drop out. So a 3 and a 2. Come back and get the 2. Now, if you want to make it more challenging, you could make it so you can only go in a clockwise fashion, and you would then have to drop out. I'm not making it that challenging right now because I am just showing you how a playthrough would work. 5, so I get 1. Now, I'm getting really tight on what I can roll. If I roll a 5, 6, 3, or 4, if I roll anything but a 2, I'm dropping out of here. Now, there's a 2. So I get those points, and all 12 have been filled, so I can clear this and stay in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drop out so you guys can see what that is. I've got a 5 and a 6, so I'm dropping down, and you can pick either side, and these are the bonuses for filling in your drop tables. The red ones, multi-ball, bumpers, outlet lane bonuses, and 2 stars, which is infinite. You can score that as many times as you want. These you can only score once. Same thing on this side. Very similar setup. So I'm 5 or a 6. I don't have a lot of choices down here. So I'm just going to come over this side, score my point. Now you can, as I said before, bounce across between them. So I've got a 1 or a 3. We'll bounce over here. Again, just like in real pinball, you can bounce around. Score my point. 2 or a 1. And again, you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to drop off. 3 or a 1. So I can come here, score my point. And a 6 or a 1. Come down here, score my point. And then next time again, just to show, I'm going to drop off 3 or a 3. Actually, I hadn't. No, I could. Actually, I can't pick that one because it's right above. You have to cross over. So I'm coming down to the flippers. You fill in the 3, and that means I am down here on the red flipper. The red flipper goes up to the red side. Yellow flipper goes up to the yellow side. The center can either be red or yellow. Now, if I roll a 1, then I'm going to try out for the Kobayashi Maru. I didn't. I rolled a 2 and a 6. Well, the 2 is open up here all the way at the top, so I can go ahead and fill that in. No points for that. Rolling again, I've got a 5 or a 3. Come down here and hit up the 3. Rolling again, I've got a 3 or a 2. And again, just for giggles, I'm going to drop down. There is no 3, or actually there is a 3 right here. So I get my point, and then I get a choice of what to do. I'm going to choose the multi-ball. And the way that works is you grab your second ball and you put it at start, just like before. Now this time you're going to use both dice. It happens to be 2 6s. One die is going to, and you erase, since this is full, erase it. This die is going to go down to the flipper, 6. This die can come, or this die, but ball comes down here. So you see you use both dice on a multi-ball. So 3 and 4, I am going to bump this one up to the 3. And this one will go up to this 4 here. And I know it's not the smartest decision, but it, again, it's just this is just a demo. Now, when I roll again, and this is full, but I've already got multi-ball, so I'm going to take the 3 points, just because I can. Rolling again, I've got a 6 and a 1. I can bump this guy over to the 1, score my point. This guy over to the 6, score this point. Now, eventually what's going to happen is all of these are going to fill in, and you're not going to have access directly to the flippers. You've got your inner lanes, which are on this a 5 and a 2, so you can fill in the inner lane, come down here, and you don't have to fill in the flipper, and you can use that flipper. The outer lane acts just like it does in pinball, and your out starts the next round. So we're in round 1 right now. You start the next round, you fill in round 2, fill in round 3. Once you finish that, you total up your score, and that's what you've gotten. This is a beat your score game. So you're going to take and try and beat your best score. But again, that's just like pinball. You don't go into a pinball game and expect to win by beating some master boss. It's just a table, and your ball is bouncing around, or in this case, the 2. And again, as you can see, it does a pretty fair job in a board game of representing a pinball table. And I really love that these are erasable. And again, these are the markers that came with the set, and they have really nice erasers on them. This just scoots right off. You'll never know that somebody had written on this. It is awesome. And then we'll erase over here, and that's it. If I decided I wasn't done with the game and I just wanted to play a different table, again, I could flip this over, and boom, you have Star Trek Trouble with Tribbles. You can see there's a whole different mechanic here. Oh, and I forgot to erase that last time I played. Where you're actually having tribbles, and the tribbles can either give you stars, it can cause you to erase part of your flipper track, or if you get all the way up here, it can end a round. Now, there are spaces where you can either add or subtract tribbles, and the idea is you want to manage them to keep them in this star range. You don't get these stars until the end of the round. At the end of the round, then you total up you total up any stars you have here, or for whatever level you're on. So you don't get 1 + 2 + 3. You would get 20 if you're here. Then you erase the tribbles and erase anything that's dotted here. Anything that's not dotted stays. And the drop zones work the same way as they do in the others. So each one has a slightly different mechanic, and it keeps the game fresh. Again, there's 4 different tables, and I just find them very replayable because you never know what your strategy is going to be the next time, because you don't know what the dice are going to roll. So as you can see, it's a really simple game to pick up, and it's just easy to play, and it's a lot of fun, and it does a pretty good job, I think, of simulating a pinball table. You don't get infinite hits with the flippers like you would at a regular pinball table if you are a pinball wizard. Um, I'm not. So this actually, it plays like I probably better than I play in real life. Now, if you look at Board Game Geek, they call this a medium light game. I would agree when you get to the more complex tables of the four. But I'd say the first table, Star Trek Academy, is pretty lightweight. Now, their rating for it is a 7.3. I give it a little bit higher. I give it an 8 because it is a lot of fun. It's easy to pick up. And to be honest, there's just not a lot of moving parts to it. It doesn't take up a whole table. And it's just a fun, easy little game that does exactly what it says it does.